My parents publicly shamed my gift as cheap, so my revenge was giving the dream beach house to relatives who deserved it. "We don't need your cheap gifts," my mother said, pushing my present aside without even opening it. The beautifully wrapped box slid across the table, nearly toppling the centerpiece. My father laughed, swirling his champagne. "Is this really all you could afford?" he asked. The retirement party guests fell silent, eyes darting between us. I maintained my composure despite the familiar sting of their rejection burning my cheeks. "I guess you won't want what's inside then," I replied with a forced smile. "I'm Jessica Winters, a 30-year-old software developer who made senior architect at Lumen Technologies last year. My annual income now exceeds what my parents ever dreamed of making, but they still see me as their disappointing daughter, the one who chose programming over their dream of me becoming a doctor. No accomplishment of mine has ever measured up to my brother Daniel's mediocre achievements. This Portland gathering is meant to celebrate my parents' retirement after 35 years of running their small accounting firm. Their colleagues toast to their future, praising their dedication and success. Meanwhile, I stand in the corner, holding my second glass of wine, watching my carefully chosen gift sit neglected on the table. The vacation home deed inside that box represented months of planning, saving, and sacrifice. I'd spent weekends driving up and down the Oregon coast, searching for the perfect beachfront property my parents had always dreamed of owning. I'd liquidated investments, worked overtime projects, and signed mountains of paperwork to make it happen. All for this moment, a moment now ruined by their perpetual disappointment in me. "Jessica, your face is so tense you'll get wrinkles," my mother called out, smiling for the benefit of her friends. "Come join the celebration instead of sulking." Daniel approached with his wife, Catherine, both giving me sympathetic looks that somehow made everything worse. Daniel, the beloved firstborn, track star, and business school graduate, had brought our parents a crystal vase that now stood proudly displayed on the main table. "Don't let them get to you," Daniel whispered, squeezing my shoulder. "I'm fine," I lied, watching my father hold court across the room. My phone buzzed with a notification from my real estate agent. "Final paperwork processed. Property officially transferred to your name. Congratulations." The irony wasn't lost on me. The beach house was now legally mine while my parents were busy dismissing it as something worthless. I glanced at the gift box again, wondering if I should just take it back. No one would know what they'd lost. My Aunt Elaine caught my eye from across the room, giving me a questioning look. She knew what was in that box, and judging by her expression, she also knew things were about to go terribly wrong. Growing up in the Winters household meant living in Daniel's shadow. While he received new sports equipment and private coaching, I saved babysitting money for my first computer. My parents viewed my interest in technology as a phase, something I'd eventually outgrow. When I announced my computer science major, they barely concealed their disappointment. "Computers are for people who can't work with people," my father had said dismissively. Despite this, I excelled. I graduated top of my class, secured an enviable position at Lumen, and climbed the corporate ladder faster than anyone expected. Each promotion, each achievement, I'd call my parents, hoping for approval that never came. "That's nice, dear," my mother would say before quickly changing the subject to Daniel's latest accomplishment, a promotion, a new car, a house in the suburbs with Catherine. Only Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey showed genuine interest in my career. They attended my graduation when my parents claimed they were too busy with Daniel's engagement party. Elaine proudly displayed my company award photo on her mantle. Uncle Jeffrey, a retired engineer, would call to discuss my projects, understanding my work in ways my parents never attempted. I kept trying to win my parents' approval anyway. When they mentioned dreams of retiring to the coast someday, I saw my opportunity. The inheritance from my grandmother gave me the down payment, and my savings and investments covered the rest. The small beach house needed work, but I spent weekends renovating it, making it perfect for them. During those months of planning, I imagined their faces when they opened the box containing the deed. I pictured tears of joy, perhaps finally an acknowledgement that I'd done something worthwhile. I decorated the master bedroom in Mom's favorite blues, stocked Dad's bar with his preferred scotch, and installed high-speed internet so they could video call Daniel's kids from the sunroom. Watching them now, laughing with their friends, dismissing my gift without a second thought, I felt a familiar heaviness. Had I been foolish to hope this time would be different? Daniel approached with a fresh glass of wine. "They're in rare form tonight," he said, nodding toward our parents. They're consistent, I'll give them that, I replied. What did you get them anyway, something tech-related? I hesitated. Even Daniel assumed I'd chosen something self-focused or impersonal. Just something I thought they'd like, I said vaguely. Well, whatever it is, I'm sure they'll appreciate the thought, even if they don't show it, he offered, patting my shoulder. But I knew better. 20 years of evidence suggested otherwise. Their brief interaction with my gift had already revealed their true feelings. Unfiltered disappointment, even before seeing what was inside. As the evening progressed, I retreated to the venue's outdoor patio, seeking escape from the suffocating atmosphere inside. The cool Portland air cleared my head as I stared at the city lights below. My gift remained untouched on the table, a physical manifestation of my parents' indifference. The glass door slid open behind me. Aunt Elaine stepped out, wrapping her cardigan tightly around herself. "There you are," she said, joining me at the railing. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," I replied automatically. "Just needed some air." "Jessica, I know what's in that box." She touched my arm gently. "You can't let them treat you this way." I sighed, watching my breath form small clouds in the night air. "It doesn't matter anymore. It does matter. What you did was incredibly generous. They should—" The door opened again. My mother emerged, slightly tipsy from champagne, her face flushed with excitement. "There you are! We're about to cut the cake. Everyone's waiting." She glanced at Elaine. "Are you filling Jessica's head with your nonsense again, Elaine?" Aunt Elaine stiffened beside me. "Susan, your daughter got you something special. Maybe you should open her gift before assuming—" "Oh, please," my mother waved dismissively. "We all know Jessica only thinks about her computer programs. Whatever's in that box is probably some tech gadget we don't need or understand." I felt something crack inside me. "Mom, you haven't even opened it." "I don't need to." She smoothed her expensive dress. "Your father and I have worked hard for everything we have. We don't need cheap gifts from someone who chose the easy path." The easy path. Years of all-night coding, sacrificed weekends, skipped vacations to meet deadlines. None of that registered as hard work to her. "Susan, that's enough," Aunt Elaine interjected. My mother's expression hardened. "Stay out of this, Elaine. Just because you never had children doesn't mean you can mother mine." The cruel barb landed, and Elaine, who had suffered through multiple miscarriages before giving up on motherhood, visibly flinched. "Mom!" I gasped. "What?" "It's true." She turned to me. "And you, instead of sulking out here, you should be inside celebrating with us. Your brother gave a beautiful toast that you missed. Of course, Daniel's toast. I briefly wondered if he had mentioned me at all." "I'll be in shortly," I said quietly. My mother huffed, then returned inside without another word. Aunt Elaine and I stood in stunned silence. "I'm so sorry," I finally whispered. "Don't apologize for her," Elaine said, her voice tight with emotion. "You know Jeffrey and I have always been proud of you. The way they treat you, it's not right." Her words hung in the air between us, a truth we both acknowledged but couldn't change. Inside, someone tapped a microphone. My father's voice boomed through the speakers, thanking everyone for coming, especially his successful son who had followed in his footsteps. No mention of me. I glanced at my phone at the property notification still displayed on the screen. All that money, all that effort, all that hope, wasted on people who couldn't see past their own prejudice. "I think," I said slowly, "I need to make some changes." Aunt Elaine squeezed my hand, understanding in her eyes. "Whatever you decide, Jeffrey and I are behind you." I nodded, a plan forming in my mind. It wasn't revenge, exactly, just a rebalancing of accounts long overdue. The next morning, I woke with renewed determination. After 30 years of seeking approval, I'd finally reached my breaking point. I would confront my parents, make them open my gift, and force them to acknowledge their mistreatment. I arrived at their house just after 10 a.m., giving them time to recover from the previous night's celebration. My gift box, still unopened, sat on their entry table alongside other presents. "Jessica, what are you doing here?" My father looked surprised as he opened the door. He was already dressed in golf attire, clearly on his way out. "We need to talk," I said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. "About last night and about my gift." He sighed, checking his watch. "Can this wait? I have a tea time with the guys." "No, Dad, it can't wait. 30 years of being treated like I don't matter can't wait anymore." My mother appeared from the kitchen, coffee cup in hand. "Jessica, don't be dramatic. If you're upset about something, just say it plainly." "Fine. You both dismissed my gift without even opening it. You humiliated me in front of everyone." My father rolled his eyes. It's just a gift. We didn't mean anything by it. You literally asked if that was all I could afford. Well, with that plain wrapping, my mother began. Open it, I demanded, pointing to the box. Open it right now. My mother exchanged a look with my father, then reluctantly picked up the box. She unwrapped it slowly, as if bracing for disappointment. When she lifted the lid and saw the envelope inside, her expression remained skeptical. What's this? Some sort of gift card? Read it, I insisted. She opened the envelope and pulled out the deed to the beach house. I watched as confusion gave way to comprehension. This is a property deed? She asked, her voice uncertain. A beach house on the Oregon coast, I confirmed. The one you always talked about wanting. I bought it for you. It's fully paid off, renovated, and furnished. My parents stared at the papers, then at me, speechless for once. Jessica, my father began, his tone softening, this is incredibly generous. We had no idea. For a moment, I felt the satisfaction I'd been seeking. They finally saw me, recognized my success, my generosity. We're so proud of you, my mother added, reaching to hug me. This is the most thoughtful gift. It should have been a perfect resolution, but something felt wrong. Their immediate pivot from dismissal to effusive gratitude felt calculated rather than genuine. Had the value of the gift changed their perception of me, or merely their reaction? When can we see it? My father asked, already reaching for his phone. I should cancel my golf game. We could drive out today. My mother was examining the pictures I'd included. It's beautiful, and right on the beach. Wait until we tell everyone. Tell everyone what? I asked. That your disappointment of a daughter actually did something worthwhile? They exchanged uncomfortable glances. Jessica, we never said you were a disappointment, my mother protested. Not in those exact words, I conceded, but you've made it clear my entire life. That's not fair, my father said. We've always supported you. When? When you refused to come to my graduation? When you belittled my career? When you pushed my gift aside without opening it because you assumed it was cheap and worthless? My mother's expression hardened. If you're going to be ungrateful about our reaction, maybe you shouldn't have given us anything at all. And there it was, the familiar dismissal, repackaged as my failure to appreciate their sudden change of heart. You know what? You're right. I reached for the deed, but my mother pulled it back. This is our gift. You gave it to us. Actually, I said, the property transfer isn't complete until you sign the acceptance forms. Those papers just show intent to gift. It was a lie, but they didn't know that. My father frowned. What are you saying, Jessica? I'm saying I'm reconsidering my gift. The atmosphere in the room transformed instantly. My mother's face paled, while my father's reddened with anger. You can't be serious, he sputtered. You can't just dangle a gift like this and then take it back. Why not? You rejected it before you knew what it was. That was different, my mother insisted. We didn't know it was something so substantial. The implication hung in the air between us. If they'd known the gift was expensive, they would have treated it, and me, differently. The realization was both illuminating and devastating. So my worth to you is directly proportional to what I can provide? I asked quietly. That's not what I meant, my mother backpedaled. We've just never seen this side of you before. We didn't realize you were so successful. I laughed without humor. I've been telling you about my promotions and raises for years. You never listened. We listened, my father protested, but you know how it is with technology jobs. We never understood what any of it meant. You never tried to understand, I corrected him. Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey managed to figure it out. At the mention of Elaine, my mother's expression soured. Of course Elaine would encourage your rebellious streak. Rebellious? I echoed in disbelief. Is that what you call my career, my independence, my success? This isn't getting us anywhere, my father interjected. Jessica, the beach house is a wonderful gift. We appreciate it. Let's move past this misunderstanding. I considered his words. Was I being unreasonable? Should I accept their sudden reversal at face value? My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. Mom just messaged about a beach house. What's going on? Before I could respond, another message arrived. She's asking if I want to use it summers. Says it's big enough for my family plus them. They were already divvying up my gift, making plans, and ensuring Daniel benefited as much as they did. I hadn't even agreed to finalize the transfer yet. I showed my father the messages. Do you see? Nothing has changed. You're still treating me like I don't matter. His expression turned defensive. We're just excited about the possibilities. Daniel has children who would enjoy the beach. And I'm nothing more than the bank that finances your dreams. That's enough, my mother snapped. You've made your point. Either give us the house properly or take it back, but stop with the dramatics. Something inside me crystallized in that moment, a clarity I'd been lacking for decades. I didn't want revenge or to hurt them. I simply wanted to stop participating in a dynamic that would never change. Keep the deed, I said, surprising them both, but understand what comes with it. Meaning? My father asked cautiously. Meaning I'm done trying to earn your approval. The house is my final attempt. Use it, enjoy it, share it with Daniel, but don't expect anything more from me. My mother's face hardened. Are you threatening to cut us off over one misunderstanding? It wasn't one misunderstanding. It was a lifetime of them. I moved toward the door. Sign the papers or don't. Your choice. I'll have my lawyer contact you. Jessica, wait, my father called. We appreciate the gift, truly. Don't leave like this. I paused at the door. You know, I spent months choosing that house. I renovated it myself on weekends. I thought it would finally make you see me. Really see me. But I realize now that nothing ever will. The truth of my words settled between us, heavy and irrefutable. The keys are in the envelope, I added. The alarm code is your anniversary date. As I walked to my car, my phone buzzed again, Aunt Elaine calling. I let it go to voicemail, needing space to process what had just happened. I'd given my parents what they wanted, but on my terms. It wasn't satisfaction I felt, but something closer to freedom. Only after I'd driven away did another realization hit me. I still owned that house. The transfer notification had confirmed it yesterday. Whatever papers they thought they needed to sign were meaningless. I spent the afternoon at a coffee shop downtown trying to sort through my emotions. My phone buzzed constantly. Calls from my parents, texts from Daniel, voicemails from Aunt Elaine. I ignored them all, focusing instead on my laptop screen. My fingers hovered over the keyboard as I logged into the property management portal. One click, and I could revoke access to the beach house. Another, and I could list it for sale. The power was dizzying after decades of feeling powerless. After my third espresso, I finally returned Aunt Elaine's call. Jessica, what happened? She asked immediately. Your mother called me in hysterics about some beach house. I explained the morning's confrontation, including my parting words. Oh, honey, Elaine sighed. I understand your frustration, but letting them keep the house seems like surrendering. I'm not surrendering, I explained. I'm setting boundaries. They can have the house, but they don't get to have me on their terms anymore. But they don't deserve such a generous gift after how they've treated you. She was right, of course, but something still held me back from claiming the property. Perhaps some lingering hope that the house might eventually change things, or fear that taking it back would permanently sever whatever fragile connection remained with my family. Late that evening, my doorbell rang. Daniel stood on my porch, looking uncomfortable. Can we talk? He asked. I let him in reluctantly. He'd always been caught in the middle of my conflicts with our parents, often supporting me in private while maintaining neutrality in public. Mom and Dad are devastated, he began. Because they might lose the beach house? I asked sharply. Because they think they've lost you, he corrected. They realize they messed up. I laughed bitterly. They've been messing up for 30 years, Daniel. This was just the final straw. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Look, I know they've always been harder on you. It wasn't fair. No, it wasn't. But they're trying to make amends. They want to have a family dinner tomorrow at the beach house. A fresh start. I stared at him, incredulous. They're already using the house? Daniel looked sheepish. They drove out this afternoon to see it. Mom called it their dream come true. Of course they had. Without even confirmation that the transfer was complete, they'd claimed the property as their own. They're inviting the whole family, Daniel continued. Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey, too. Mom even apologized to Elaine for what she said at the party. That caught my attention. My mother rarely apologized for anything. What's really going on, Daniel? He shifted uncomfortably. There might be an issue with the property transfer. Dad tried calling your lawyer but couldn't reach anyone. Because there is no lawyer, I admitted. The house is still legally mine. The transfer notification I received was confirming my ownership, not the transfer to them. Daniel's eyes widened. So you could still take it back? Yes. A complex mix of emotions crossed his face. Are you going to? It was the question I'd been struggling with all day. The beach house represented years of work, a significant portion of my savings, and countless hours of renovation, but it also represented my last attempt to buy my parents' approval, a pattern I was determined to break. Just then, my phone chimed with an email notification. My heart nearly stopped when I saw the sender, Golden Horizon Realty. The message was brief, confirming your interest in listing the coastal property. Our agent can meet tomorrow to discuss pricing and timeline. I didn't remember contacting a realtor. Had I accidentally clicked something in my distracted state at the coffee shop? "Jessica, what is it?" Daniel asked, noticing my expression. The email presented an unexpected opportunity, a clean break, a definitive end to this chapter. But was I ready? My phone rang in my hand, Aunt Elaine again. "This time," I answered. "Jessica, whatever you're planning, I want you to know something first," she said without preamble. "Jeffrey and I have always dreamed of retiring to the coast, too." The pieces suddenly clicked into place. The next evening, I drove to the beach house, Daniel following in his car. I'd asked him not to tell our parents I was coming. The plan was simple but effective. A clean break with no room for manipulation or misunderstanding. When we arrived, my parents' car was already parked in the driveway, along with Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey's sedan. The lights were on inside, the ocean waves crashing rhythmically against the shore beyond the back deck. "Are you sure about this?" Daniel asked as we approached the door. "Completely," I replied, my voice steady. I didn't knock. I used my key, walking in to find my parents giving Elaine and Jeffrey a tour of their new beach house. "Jessica!" My mother looked startled. "You came." "I did," I confirmed. "I wanted to see how you were enjoying the place." "It's absolutely perfect," my father gushed. "You've done an incredible job with the renovations. We were just telling Elaine and Jeffrey about our plans for summer gatherings," my mother added. I nodded, moving to the center of the living room. Daniel hung back near the door, watching anxiously. "I'm glad you like it," I said, "but there's been a misunderstanding." I pulled out a folder containing the true property documents. "The house isn't yours. It never was. The transfer wasn't complete." My parents' expressions shifted from confusion to dismay. "What do you mean?" my father demanded. "You gave us the deed." "I showed you the deed," I corrected. "But legally, the house remains in my name." "This is absurd," my mother sputtered. "You're trying to punish us." "No, I'm making a choice." I turned to Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey. "The house belongs to you now. I've already started the transfer process." The room fell silent, except for the distant sound of waves. "You can't do this," my father finally said, his voice breaking. "Actually, I can, and I am." I handed the folder to Uncle Jeffrey. "Consider it a gift for the only parental figures who ever truly supported me." My mother collapsed onto the sofa, her face ashen. My father stood frozen, disbelief etched into his features. "This is how you repay us for everything we've done for you?" he finally managed. "This is how I honor those who actually believed in me," I corrected him. "Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey have been there for every milestone you missed, every achievement you dismissed." Aunt Elaine stepped forward, visibly moved. "Jessica, we can't accept this. It's too much." "You can, and you will," I insisted. "I've already spoken to my financial advisor. It's all arranged." My mother found her voice. "After all we sacrificed for you, what exactly did you sacrifice?" I interrupted. "You paid for Daniel's education but made me work through college. You attended his games and ceremonies but were too busy for mine. You dismissed my career, my choices, and my gifts." The truth hung in the air between us. "Jessica," Daniel began cautiously, "maybe there's a compromise." "There's no compromise needed," I said. "Mom and Dad got exactly what they wanted at the retirement party, the satisfaction of publicly dismissing me. And now I get what I want, the knowledge that this house will be appreciated by people who deserve it." Uncle Jeffrey squeezed my shoulder. "We're proud of you, Jessica, not just for this, but for standing up for yourself." My parents began gathering their things, the dream of their beach house retreat crumbling before their eyes. "You'll regret this," my mother warned as they headed for the door. "I don't think I will," I replied calmly. After they left, Daniel lingered. "That was harsh. That was necessary," I corrected him. "For all of us." As I walked onto the deck later that evening, watching the moonlight on the waves with Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey, I felt no regret, no lingering anger, only peace. The house had found its rightful owners, and I had finally freed myself from the exhausting pursuit of approval I'd never receive. Sometimes the most valuable gift is the one you give yourself. The permission to stop trying to earn love that should have been freely given all along.